It's Reid Marnie and the Bulldogs. Not a massive crowd, it has to be said, here at Accor Stadium. They are 5 wins and 10 losses through their first 15 games in 2023. Matt Burton, who was part of that New South Wales Origin squad for Game 2 without playing for the Blues, is back on deck, having missed the previous game 2 weeks ago against the Sharks. They went down convincingly in that one, but a big chance today to claim a scalp against the Knights.
Yeah, pretty good too. There's Josh Adokar on camera there at the moment. 8 tries to him this season so far. I think he's got the blokes inside of him really creating opportunities. Done well. Big game for him and also Burton. State of Origin jumpers up for grabs. This should be a beauty. They get the first bite here at the Newcastle Knights. Let's have a look at their defence in this first set of 6 from the Bulldogs.
Well, the sun is shining in the inner west of Sydney. It has been a fairly gloomy season for both clubs. Can turn around right here today. Burton gets us underway. The kickoff goes down to Phoenix Crossland, who once again look after things at dummy half for the Knights. And it's Jacob Saifiti in the starting side today, who'll play it there 10 out from the Knights line. Good early pressure from the Bulldogs defence. Preston up very quickly here, driving Marju back. Barely a metre gain there as Leo Thompson is met with another heavy shot. Preston was also there. Pangai Jr. getting up in his face. A little 2-pass shift for Frizzell to get something going as far as momentum in this set for the Knights. They've got 1 play left here. 10 on their own side of halfway where Elliott plays it. Comes back to Tyson Gamble. He puts the kick in. Adokar will make the catch. Hayes Perham was back there, but lets the Fox make the early catch. And we'll see what the Knights can offer here in defence off the back of what the Bulldogs showed in those early tackles. And that's something that Adam O'Brien, the Newcastle coach, spoke about prior to this game, saying we need to front load our efforts and get up in their face and limit the metres of the back 5 in particular.
Well, I'll tell you, the bloke I'm really looking forward to seeing for the Bulldogs is Savo, Curtis Moran. Now, they were renowned for their toughness all through the grades, the 80s, the 90s, the Bulldogs. Just have a look at this young kid getting his start here this afternoon at lock forward for the Bulldogs. He plays at 100 miles an hour. I'm looking forward to him.
For the moment, it's Burton on this left-hand side who will kick. It's a deep one. Ponga will get a foot back there on the line. And Matt Burton gets it a metre too long with his first kick in an attacking situation for the Bulldogs here this afternoon. As the Knights work it away through Greg Marju, will go downstairs to Darcy McDonald.
Good afternoon, Warren Blocker and everyone tuning in. Glorious conditions at Accor Stadium, 18 degrees and no breeze at all. The Bulldogs have plenty of support here, and not just in the form of fans. It's their Old Boys Day and former head coach Kevin Moore.
As the Knights come up with a mistake, Darcy, and it will put them under pressure here. The Dogs will go on the attack from just inside the Newcastle 40.
You can put it down to some good defence there, but that's a shocking play, the ball. Attention to detail not there from Dominic Young. There's the first error. Good attacking zone now for the Bulldogs in the middle of the park, 40 out. You can put it down to the aggressive defence the first couple of sets, and they've forced the first error.
He paid the price for a couple of poor games earlier in the season, Dominic Young, and eventually came back to the NRL side with a big performance. 4 tries he scored against the Seagulls up at Mudgee. He's been a fixture on the right-hand side ever since. As Burton with the scrum feed, Marnie from the back of it, comes across here to Avarillo, who was taken high. The referee agrees, and the Dogs will put further pressure here on the Newcastle Knights.
Yeah, back-to-back errors there. Well, the first play the ball error, then a penalty for a high shot. Marnie will take the kick for touch. You think they'd be excited about this opportunity? 20 out now. Let's see what they can come up with, the Bulldogs.
Avarillo taps it. He's offered the Dolphins in 2024 and beyond for the moment. He's on this left-hand side waiting for a chance as Pangai Jr. plays it. Marnie goes across to Khalid Rajab in the starting side of the famous 6 jersey on his back, playing in front of his hero, Josh Reynolds, who's in the New South Wales Cup team earlier today. Here's a nice ball for Moran. Burton almost putting him through a hole. Inside the 10, Marnie goes flat. Chance there for King. He's taken down in a tackle under the uprights by Fitzgibbon. Switch. Pengai Jr. charging hard. Nice service there from Marty. But the Bulldogs have one more. Burton on this left-hand side. Players in front of him. He grubbers. An awkward one here. Ponga, though, all the patience in the world to let that go dead.
Yeah, just a little bit too much on that there from the halfback and captain Matt Burton. Just a little bit too much. It's just easy. Ponga was right on the spot if he had to clean it up in the in-goal area. And that's an opportunity gone begging early in the game now for the Bulldogs. 6 again now for the Knights.
So they save the blushes of Dominic Young, who made that error in the play the ball. Put them under pressure, but they survived that as Tyson Gamble playing on the right-hand side to begin this game, with Jackson Hastings out on the left. A switch to what they've been doing in recent games, especially last week. They didn't create a lot, it has to be said, against the Panthers in that loss. Here is Hastings with the white headgear on. Ponga out the back in the red and blue headgear. Fitzgibbon working it forward. Stopped there eventually by Moran around the legs as Hastings comes back to the right-hand side. Gamble cut out ball knocked on there by Dominic Young. It was a hard one to take, and Nari Tuwala was there. The pass went across the face of him, and it was an awkward one to handle for big Dom Young.
Yeah, you could put it down to Josh Addo-Carr coming off that left wing and putting pressure on the outside men, making them play. Had he not got there on time, they got the ball through the hands and had gone to Dominic Young, he would have had a free rein to the try line, but good play there from Addo-Carr to shut that down.
We'll see if this half switch for Newcastle stays this way through the 80 minutes, but they have been the other way around with Hastings on the right-hand side, Gamble on the left. So Adam O'Brien looking for something to spark his team here today. Raja from dummy half goes to Jacob Carraz. 21-year-old will play it just outside the Bulldogs 30 as Marnie waits. Comes through the hands back on this right-hand side. Dumped out the back. They'd like that pass over again. Alamotti turning it over very cheaply for Newcastle to give them a chance. A good field position for the first time in the game.
Well, it's not even a natural offload, is it? He was gang tackled there, Alamotti. Tried to just throw the ball out the back. A terrible pass. Can't afford to give this sort of attacking ability with the Newcastle Knights, with the calibre of players they've got. Here they go.
Here's Elliott showing it, staying alive. Crossland looking back to his right-hand side for Gamble, who takes it to the line and is stopped there just outside the 10. Crossland for Hastings at the advantage line. Elliott there again, trying to offload. He lost it and lost it forward. That's got Adam O'Brien, given the mistakes they've made early on, a little agitated already.
Gee, you've got to be super confident that you're going to get the ball away there. Pengai Jr. over the top, holds onto the arms. Elliott tries to throw it out the back. Look at the frustration from the coach. You've got to build pressure and mount pressure in this game. They got the ball back, got the opportunity, but just can't complete.
And they've already done something that took them more than an hour last week against the Panthers, and that's going to play the ball inside the opposing 20. It took them 60 minutes to do that last week in that loss, and eventually finished up with 4 tackles total for the game.
That's not a typo, is it?
Inside the red zone. That's all they had for 80 minutes last week against the Panthers. The Dogs from their own end take it forward here through King, taking the ground heavily just inside his 30 as Marnie goes back to the right-hand side. Curtis Moran scored a try 2 weeks ago. Coming off the bye, of course, the Bulldogs in preparation for this game. He's 10 on his own side of halfway. King off the left foot, met there by Crossland around the legs, and a good tackle over the top from Elliott as well. Burton. They kick it deep towards Ponga once again, out towards the sideline. An awkward one for Ponga in the end. Both he and Young did well letting that bounce, and it goes into touch.
Always dangerous when he's chasing through that quick. Addo-Carr right on the spot there. They did well. He didn't really go for it there, Ponga. He's right there. Had the ball bounced in field, would have been race for the footy. Good chase through there by Addo-Carr. The Knights get the football back.
Off the back of the change of possession, Best playing it here as Hastings goes to Young, who comes midfield for a carry. They were waiting for him. He's as big as a forward, isn't he? Crossland down for Thompson. And the fixture in this starting front row rotation for Adam O'Brien. Flat pass there from Crossland to Elliott, who's getting a whole number of touches in the opening minutes of this game, the lock forward. Got away with one there. The Knights. Fitzgibbon keeps it going. Here's Ponga, runs towards Perham. He'll wrap him up eventually after Perez made the first contact. But some good work by Lachlan Fitzgibbon. Hastings to chip it in behind them. Gamble chasing through, put a hand out and knocked it on. There was a contest with he and Burton, and the kick was just fractionally too big for Tyson Gamble.
Yeah, good play from Lachlan Fitzgibbon. Gee, he hits a hole really well too, doesn't he? And what about the anticipation there from Ponga to be right on the ball? Just got wonderful awareness. They just couldn't come away with the last play there.
Nice work by Lachlan Fitzgibbon, who is back after suffering a concussion back in round 16 in that narrow loss to the Roosters. So Moran takes it forward here, 15 short the halfway line for the Bulldogs. Still no score in the first of two games on Fox League's Sunday ticket. Amarillo has been playing on the right-hand side, switching sides with Alamotti for this game. Perham to the halfway line, takes it back into Newcastle territory. The Dogs have one more, and it's Burton. Kick again towards the corner. Ponga coming forward, no pressure on him. Good straight chase line though from Canterbury, and they wrap Kalen Ponga up inside the Newcastle 20.
Gee, they've been pretty ordinary with their attack. We've known that's happened all season here. Just sitting back, waiting for the last tackle, trying to get Burton with a big bomb and getting a result out of that.
Good hands here through Bradman Best away to Fitzgibbon, who was floating out there on the left-hand side of the field. Almost back at the halfway line. There's Marju getting going quickly, standing in the tackle. Looking to get that left arm free. Pangai Jr. had his hands full there, got some help from Moran. And now Crossland out of dummy half. Goes through the front line. A kick. It bounced off the legs of Perham. Was it played at? No is the call. Tackle count continues on. This is the second last play. Frizzell stopped there, and the Knights have just one more. Crossland for Ponga, down the short side. Intercept almost there, taken by Addo-Carr.
Knock on Josh Addo-Carr.
And it will be a knock-on against the Bulldogs. The Knights will get 6 more plays.
Did you have a look at their middle there early? Crossland just went straight through. No anticipation there. Here's the last tackle, just Ponga just skipping on the outside. Intercept attempted. They'll get the ball back again, starting to mount a little bit of pressure. They look the most likely, the Knights.
Added chances down either side of the field. Fitzgibbon and Ponga combining his right edge. It was only Addo-Carr there who prevented potentially the first points of the day. Hastings! He takes them on! Something he hasn't been doing a lot of in recent times for the Knights. But he fools them here. They all took the dummy, the Bulldogs, and Hastings just goes his way through the line.
Yeah, he's got good awareness, holds the ball out in front there. I thought the ease that he went through there might have been an obstruction. We'll have to have a look at the replay, but throws the dummy, fools everyone. Set play off the scrum base, goes to the line, no obstruction, the dummy thrown. Rajab, it was just overlooked, looked on the outside there, and he's just good enough to see that. Hastings throws the dummy. As soon as his eyes were set on the outside from Rajab, he throws the dummy, goes straight through. And how easy was that? They've already made a number of line breaks in this game. The Newcastle Knights looking dangerous this afternoon, and there's their first try.
He had a scare last week after the serious ankle injury he suffered at the back end of the 2022 season. He was right to go for this game. Jackson Hastings, they certainly need him out there steering the ship around, and he provides the spark that gets them going here today. Kalen Ponga from just about right in front, and it's the Knights who lead the Bulldogs, Darcy, 6 points to 0.
Well, we got a glimpse of Jackson Hastings' running game last week, and we saw it again just then, and he wants to lean on that more going forward. He admitted that some mental demons from his ankle injury last year have held him back from running, and so did the pressure of being a game manager while Kalen Ponga was playing 5/8. But with Ponga back at fullback and Tyson Gamble coming into the halves, Hastings plans to run the ball more only when the time is right, and it was right just then.
It absolutely was, testing out the young 5'8", the 21-year-old, and Carlin Rajab. He slips back on the inside. Newcastle leads 6 points to 0. 14 gone here in the first half. Our first game on the Sunday ticket. Crossland makes the catch in the bright sunlight. Gorgeous weekend again here in Sydney. What conditions these are. We take you to the northern beaches, to Four Pines Park. Seagulls hosting the Roosters. Here's Marju getting through the line. Some early defensive worries here for the Bulldogs, coming off the back 2 weeks ago of giving up 48 points to the Sharks down there at PointsBet Stadium.
Yeah, we mentioned how good they are. They're back 5. Marju, look at that. There's 3 in the tackle there. He just bounces straight out. Keeps the legs moving. Marnie it is to come up with the tackle, but fell on the back of his legs here. That's the reason for the penalty.
Rajab coming in late there as well, which is going to give the Newcastle Knights a real chance here. They go back to back. Some attention in the background there for Greg Marju. So for the moment they'll play on without the left winger as Fitzgibbon takes it down just outside the 30. He's okay now, just feeling that left shoulder. So he works his way back out onto the wing. Thompson struggling for every metre he can get right here. They're set on this right-hand side. Jacob Saifidi, strong carry there, equally good tackle made by the Bulldogs, who was pressed and jamming in to stop him. Elliott, Hastings into half a hole. Fitzgibbon did well to hang on to it in the tackle there of Alamotti. 6 again call. More pressure here on the Bulldogs. Elliott standing alive there, taking the ground just outside the 10. Here's Thompson. The Knights fans who are here launching a chance. It's Crossland. Comes back to the left. Hastings flat pass there. Elliott again. Bulldogs under so much pressure, hanging on, but only just at the moment. Here's Crossland. Coming back to Thompson. It's been all the forwards, the crash balls so far in this set. We've got 2 more plays remaining. Left side now. Hastings, Ponga, double pumps it, gives it to Bradman Best, and they've cracked them again. They pounded it through the middle, through the forwards, and the first chance they get to go to the edge, Ponga and Best combine, and it's 10 points to 0.
Yeah, they've got very good structure, haven't they? They just worked away the middle there of the Bulldogs, and then they go to the left-hand side. Watch Ponga just hold them up with the double pump. Best, virtually impossible to stop there one-on-one. He got on an inside shoulder here. Put it down to Ponga, coming in to make the extra man, but Best that close to the line, too strong. Great start. Back-to-back tries to the Newcastle Knights, and they've done it in style.
The Bulldogs continually putting themselves under pressure. They had the penalty they gave away to help the Knights come down into an attacking situation. Then the set restart as well, compounding that poor discipline. Bradman Best makes them pay. 10 points to 0. A kick to come here, and Kalen Ponga, who doing the kicking today for Jackson Hastings. Ponga hasn't kicked before today. A tough one from out wide coming up, but Bradman Best, well, from close range, as hard as any centre in the competition to stop, and he proved that once again right there.
Yeah, that close to the line. You know, been waiting. We know what sort of ability he's got. Just nice timing off Ponga. The training run there. One-on-one. Best too strong, straight over the top. The Bulldogs have got to find something here. Otherwise, the scoreboard will start to tick over.
Kalen Ponga has, for the moment, said to the Maroons, I'm going to focus on what I'm doing at the Newcastle Knights. It's working here today against the Bulldogs. They lead them 12 points to nil, searching for their 6th win of the season. Just able to hold that ball up nicely and bring Best onto it into the space between Alamotti and also Carraz. Now, disappointing it has to be said against that team last week at the Penrith Panthers, who were missing all those Origin stars who were rested by Ivan Cleary. Went down in that one 20 points to 12. And so few chances in attack, but they've had all the best of the attacking chances here so far today, and they've banked a couple of tries as a result. Here's Best. Just outside the 20 here, playing it for Crossland. Adam Elliott. Wasn't it his best last week? It has to be said against the Panthers. Boy, he's trying to make amends in an amazing first stint here today. He's had so many touches already of the ball and really testing out these Bulldogs forwards.
Well, the Bulldogs are getting blasted through the middle. Just go back to only a few minutes ago when Crossland went straight through, but look at the ease that they're going straight down the middle at the moment.
There's Gamble's kick. They'll find Addo-Carr. He'll look up. He sees Frizzell. Also Tuwala there, who's playing on this right-hand side for Dane Gagai, who's out for the moment. Will be missing for a couple of weeks until round 20. A bit of a foot injury he's been carrying for some time. Certainly inconvenienced last week in that loss to the Panthers. As Carraz brings it forward. Played here just outside the 40. Marnie from dummy half. Definite kicking option for the Bulldogs here this afternoon, with Rajab and also quite obviously Matt Burton. But Ponga stepping, jumping, finding Marju. We'll bring it back, try and get to ground here before the Dogs can get some numbers there and try and force him into touch. We've had 20 minutes. It's all the Knights on the scoreboard at 12-0. Ponga keen for a chance to work through the middle. Combines here with Dominic Young. Met in a good tackle though was Matt Burton. Stopped him cold there and drove him backwards. Elliott again spinning in the tackle. Takes it beyond the halfway line. Nice post contact meters. And the 2 plays remaining, they can put up an attacking kick here on the next play potentially. Maybe put it through the hands once again. It's Gamble. He'll do the former. Addo-Carr waiting underneath it. Dominic Young was there. Floating back, Averillo did a nice job just hindering Dominic Young, but in a legal fashion. And Addo-Carr was able to make the grab. The Dogs having to roll up their sleeves time after time here, Blocker, to work it away from inside their 20.
Yeah, always difficult, isn't it? Carraz leaving the way for the Bulldogs. He looks the most likely at the moment to make a break. We know how many offloads he got earlier on in the season, but you can't shift off a slow play the ball like that. And look at the defence just being mauled, the Bulldogs at the moment.
Now Burton switching to the right-hand side. Ockenbaugh out there, puts a kick in, and then it was let. I don't know what Greg Marju was doing. I'm absolutely mystified as to what he was doing. He was trying to shepherd Jaden Ockenbaugh off the ball, and now Burton puts a kick up. Ponga on his bike gets across and makes the grab. But they shouldn't have been under that sort of pressure because Greg Marju surely had to dive on the ball.
Unless he thought it was a knock-on or something there, but it was Ockenbaugh who put the little grubber kick in. You've got to get on the football as quick as you can there.
So he definitely played at the ball. That was all okay. Not a knock-on. Marju there trying to block Ockenbaugh from getting the ball as opposed to just diving on the ball. I'm still mystified, Blocking.
Yeah, I reckon he thought it was a knock-on, but it come off the boot. He lost possession, went onto the boot, so I'm trying to come up with some sort of idea to protect him.
Just play to the whistle. Exactly. Dive on the ball. If they blow the whistle, then you get the knock-on. Here's a kick over the head of Carraz, who's on the edge of the cliff for a moment there, staring at the abyss. He keeps it in the field of play. Perham now goes back to Jacob Carraz. And they're just outside their 30, about as good a field position as they've had to begin a set for some time. Marnie waiting at dummy half. Through the hands there of Harrison Edwards, who's on deck now for Cameron Ciraldo. Here he is again, through the middle, giving it to Raja. Jaden Ockenball, the former winger, now a full-time forward. Looking forward to getting a full pre-season under his belt. Cameron Ciraldo said during our pre-game show with Braithen Astor and the boys, as Ponga steps, can't he dance? He beat two there. He left Alamotti in his wake and eventually wrapped up by Carraz at the 20.
And that's why you've got to present a straight line at Ponga at the back. If you go running one out at him like that, he'll beat you with his footwork. And what a great start to their set again.
Daniel Saifidi hands over the interchange card. He'll be out there. The first carry here in a moment as Croston wants a quick play the ball. He finds Daniel Saifidi. There for a minimal gain for the Knights. Crossland from just outside the 40, punching it towards the corner. Not a bad kick, plenty of speed though from Perham to get across. Track it down as quickly as he could, and he'll play it here inside the Bulldogs 20. 16 out from half-time. Both teams with 5 wins to this point of the season. Of course, the Knights 5 wins, 1 draw and 9 losses. Bulldogs' 8th appearance at this venue in 2023. Won 3 and lost 4 to this point. Here's Avarillo losing it, and it was helped out by the Knights. Penalty to the Dogs.
Daniel Saifidi and also Frizzell, they're going to challenge this, but it looked to me like they did strip the ball there. There's a gamble down at the moment there, getting some treatment. And here's the 2 in the tackle. If there's any sort of stripping motion here.
Just looking for any stripping action. The hands on the arm. The Bulldogs player tries to offload the ball after the held call's already occurred. The challenge by the Dogs is successful.
Good piece of judgment from Daniel Saifidi, fresh on the field. His hand made contact with the ball, but it wasn't a classic strip by any stretch. And no question there that Avarillo was trying to get that arm free to force an offload. He can't believe it. Avarillo. The challenge is successful for the Knights.
I think it's a pretty good call. There was no stripping motion there. It looked like he was turning around and trying to offload the footy or flop it back.
So Cameron Ciraldo, dare say he's probably inclined to disagree with us at the moment, given his reaction also. Dominic Young feeding the scrum as a 6'7" halfback on the left-hand side. A chance here for the Knights. Best inside the 30. Score a 3rd try here and really blow open this scoreline. They're back inside the red zone. Crossland. He looks for Hastings. Ponga was wrapping to the right-hand side. Cutting back on the inside was Jacob Saifidi. Crossland goes left. Daniel Saifidi for Saifidi through the middle of the set. They'll stop him half a metre out from the line, though. Crossland, short side. Fitzgibbon trying to hit and spin. They were able to isolate a Bulldogs defender, and it was Carlin Rajab who was posted one-on-one with a much bigger man right on top of his own line. And it was pretty simple work in the end by Lachlan Fitzgibbon.
I'll tell you what, it was a nice pass from Crossland. They just picked it out straight away. The call would have gone out. I've got him right in front of me. Rajat can't make the tackle. He did his best. Much bigger man, just spun out of the tackle. You're learning about what front on defence is all about. Rajat playing in his first game, his first starting, but they would have practiced for that.
Interesting today that Cameron Ciraldo has switched the centres from left and right. Avarillo playing left, Alamotti playing right. There seems to be a real lack of defensive cohesion, especially on that right-hand side, with Alamotti defending outside Khalid Rajab. A brand new, obviously, right edge defence for the Bulldogs today. And Alamotti there had eyes only for the men out the back. And Fitzgibbon said, boy, if you're going to leave me one-on-one with the much smaller 5'8", I'll score a try every time.
And their spacing isn't that good. If you have a look at the replay again, just have a look at the outside men, outside Rajab. He was just left stranded there. Of course, they're going to have an overcall, see him up in front of them. We're going to make him make the tackle on a much bigger man. It doesn't happen.
Kalen Ponga here looking for 3 for 3 with the boot. And to make it 18 points to 0, which he does. Stays inside that right hand upright. Lachlan Fitzgibbon, the last of 3 try scorers this afternoon for the Newcastle Knights. Watch it again, Blocker, and see how Fitzgibbon just says, here I am, stop me if you can.
Yeah, just man on man. They're all worried about the man out in the back there, which was Hastings. Fitzgibbon would have had an overcall there, got him in front of him. My ball straight over the top. You can't really blame the kid there for that tackle.
It is Benny for brain cancer round, and it's been fantastic to see so many supporters, including Viliami Kikau, who'll be back in about a month's time. And now to compound the issues they have, the Bulldogs have kicked out on the full, and the Knights coming right back at them with a restart from the halfway line.
A good play from Marju too. Just put the foot over the sideline before the ball goes on the full. Well done. Stays planted. He knew exactly what he was doing there. And this could get ugly. 13 to go before half-time. They've got to try and hang on here somehow. Don't know whether they can, the Dogs.
It has that potential. I don't know if it has Townsville potential from last night. For the Knights in a mood here at the moment to really put a score on against the Bulldogs, who are struggling through this first half. Saifidi it is who'll play it just outside the 10. Daniel, that is. Jacob winding up on this right-hand side. They stack some numbers. Gamble, inside ball there for Frizzell. Taken down by Preston. Here's Elliott now. 5 metres out from the line. He'll play it to Crossland. Goes back to Jacob Saifidi, as they've done previously, just pounding it through the forwards. First 3 or 4 plays in this set. One more now. Hastings holds it up. Goes to Fitzgibbon again this time. Rajab gets some help from Jaden Ockenbaugh, and they take him down 2 metres out. But they try to do it over again.
Yeah, I think the play was to go out the back there. They had the numbers. They had them stripped for numbers. The Bulldogs were really short on that right-hand side. And they've had plenty of luck going through the middle there, hitting the front man. They tried it one too many times. Well done from the Dogs to hang on.
Edwards to work it forward here for the Bulldogs. A long time since they had a chance at the other end of the field. They had the first real scoring opportunity of the game. They had 5 tackles, a full set inside the Knights 20. Haven't been there since. Matt Burton out the back. Preston, he's got the Fox looming up along the touchline, but he'll come infield there to be wrapped up by Tuwala. Avarillo speeds to just flies out of dummy half. It's going sideways though, and eventually picked off by Elliott and also Hastings. It's Rajab, the Lebanon international, who puts it in the air. Ponga goes to the air himself to make a bird of it, and there will be a penalty here for the contact. Jacob Carraz was down there, didn't really make a catch at the ball, and in fact it's going to be an escort on Jacob Carraz. Watch this again as Ponga flies. You saw Carraz hit the deck there. He was taken down by Bradman Best, and that was the reason for the penalty.
Yeah, it looked like a little bit of a shove in the back. Let's hope the Bulldogs can score before half-time. Haven't made a line break yet, the Bulldogs. And there's a penalty in front of the posts. Let's see if they'll get on with it pretty quickly. You don't have to have a meeting now. Let's get on with it.
Bulldogs fans have been quiet, quite obviously, at 18-0 against them. A little noise now, though. They'd like to see a result. Ryan Sutton is out there. He plays it there for Marnie. Goes back to Edwards. Turns, finds Marnie once again. Goes to Rajab, quick hands. Bypasses Ockenbaugh. Cleaned up by Alamotti, who fends. Stays alive. Brings it back to Hayes Perham. Bulldogs in front of him, so he passes wide out to Jacob Preston. And probably a net loss of about 10 metres on the play. Perham comes back to Burton. There is King just laying line for Burton and also Rajab. They'll go to the right-hand side where Rajab is flat to Alamotti. Steps back on the inside of Bradman Best, two very strong young men going head-to-head there today. Raju from dummy half finds Marnie, who kicks. Well, the Bulldogs didn't realise there was a kick coming there. They had one more play. Marnie's got on play number 5, and they were fanned out deep on the left-hand side, and not one Bulldog realised that Marnie was going to kick.
Look, I really like Marnie as a player. I think he tries to do too much at times. Should be in there at dummy half, trying to distribute out of dummy half with some good passes, but Burton's got the kicking game under control. Marnie tries to do too much.
That was very much an ad-lib play right off the top of his head. And there was no chaser there to push through and try and make a catch of it. Fitzgibbon here. Almost back at the halfway line. Best was pushing up on his outside from Crossland. Goes back there to Hastings to put the kick in. Will go to Perham. Long ball here for Addo-Carr. Might as well try something. A shift from inside their own 20. Try and catch the Knights out, who can press that offensive line here as Perham takes a carry. They are really battling for a scoring chance so far in the game. Through more than 32 minutes, Bulldogs still scoreless. It's King. He finds Burton. And now Averillo showing it back on the inside where Perham was stationed, but he hangs on to it. I thought of an offload this time after the previous mistake. Burton through the hands there of Sutton. Oh, and then Marnie fires a ball. Alamotti, no real speed there running onto the ball. It was out in front of him as well. And a simple mistake, and they are out of sorts both in attack and defence today.
Yeah, their attack's too hard to watch, isn't it, for the Bulldogs here. Marnie again caught out of position. Poor pass on the outside. Alamotti can't handle it. He missed the 2 tackles the Knights in the first half, but is that down to how good their defence has been or what the Dogs have been able to throw at them? I think the latter.
It's a fair tally, isn't it? Just the 2 missed tackles to this point, 19 for the Bulldogs by comparison. Big chance here coming up again for the Knights. Ponga, 45 metres out. As Crossman comes back. It's at restart. Kurt Mann is out there now. Play at dummy half. Also, this is a small lock forward for them through the middle of the field. There's Daniel Saifidi stepping. He's got himself a bit of space there. Crossland goes back to Mann. Gamble. Short ball for Frizzell. And he stopped just inside the 30. Here's Ponga. Bypasses Hastings, picked up by Best. Oh, lost their way on that particular play. We've got 2 plays remaining here as they search for the red zone once again. Hastings at first receiver. It's back on the inside, Jack Hetherington. Well, a sin bin last week against the Panthers. He finds Crossland though. Ponga showing it, stepping. Crossland back on the inside. Crossland scores a try. Newcastle have 4. It's 22 points to 0, and again they go left and they have points off the back of it.
And that's what you want from your blokes coming off the bench too. Jack Hetherington it is, back on the inside, able to stand in the tackle and flop the ball back. Crossland there right on the spot, and look at the reaction straight away here from the Newcastle Knights. Crossland stays alive, back on the inside, and this is a carve up at the moment. Won't be too long before it's 24-0. Is that a good game, Crossland too? Had a couple of dashing runs out of dummy half. This time he gets a try off an offload there from Hetherington coming on. Only been on a minute or so. Supports back on the inside and scores.
He's been good value for the Newcastle Knights, filling in for Jaden Brayley, hasn't he? Phoenix Crossland, who played only 5 games this season before suffering that torn ACL. And Crossland has had to fill the breach on a full-time basis from that point on. And a platoon situation with Kurt Mann, who spends some time at dummy half, coming off the bench for Adam O'Brien. They found some points today against a lacklustre Bulldogs outfit with 4 minutes remaining in this first half. Darcy, 24 points to nil is the scoreline.
Well, Phoenix Crosland has become a real Mr. Fix-It for the Knights, and Adam O'Brien couldn't be happier with his team-first mentality. Crosland was a specialist halfback in his younger years, but has taken on the number 9 jersey with Jaden Brayley out for the season. He's actually become so comfortable at hooker that he has said he sees himself as a dummy half going forward.
Still a young player, only 22 years of age, playing game number 51 of his career today, getting some valuable experience here in 2023, with Brayley slated to return early next season. Matt Burton, he's getting some practice at kickoffs, isn't he, this afternoon? 24 points to nil. Both teams with just 5 wins between them to this point of the season, as the whips are cracking in the run towards the finals. Adam O'Brien said in the lead up to this game, you just never know. Just need to get a win under our belt and try and build on that. They're well on track to this point here today. Here's Ponga again, another offload. He's away again. Best is there in support. It's all the Newcastle Knights. Ponga is killing them on that left-hand side. Best has a second try. In a moment, it'll be 30 points to nil.
Well, how good is it, the Newcastle Knights captain, when he gets himself involved? Straight through, as you mentioned. Just have a look at him lurking out the back. The second man play, the offload again. Fitzgibbon had a day out. Just knows exactly when to run. Best just looming up, the perfectly timed pass. Best sprints away for number 2, but put it down to Ponga. Great awareness of knowing when to run. Straight through the hole. Lines up the fullback, Best straight through. The best thing to happen for the Dogs will be the half-time siren.
Well, the offloads are really killing the Bulldogs at the moment. Good one there again. It was Hetherington just a moment ago. Fitzgibbon this time. Ponga is feeding off the back of these offloads and linking up with runners. Bradman Best has his second try of the afternoon. And from just beside the uprights, it'll be 30 points to nil. And Ponga looking for 5 from 5. He sticks it across the black dot. And Newcastle having quite the day out here. I said a moment ago, Blocky, I don't know, we'll have a Townsville situation like we saw last night. Can I have a second guess about that?
Gee, I'm still having nightmares about it. I couldn't sleep last night,
I'm sure you couldn't.
And you're a Tiger man too, admit it.
What about the Bulldogs and Cameron Serraldo? How do you think he's going to sleep tonight if this doesn't improve in a hurry here at 30 points to nil? 2 remaining in this first half, and I'm not backing them out to maybe score again here. Raja from the field for the moment. It was a very tough first half for, as we said, the Lebanese international, the local junior who came through the ranks at Bankstown Sports, but something had to happen on that right-hand side, and they were just having a field day. And that combination of he and Alamotti in particular.
Well, especially when you've got the know-how of Ponga. You can just read the play so well. As I mentioned, he's out the back. Another offload there from Fitzgibbon. He's been outstanding for the Knights in this first half. They're just carving the right-hand defence of the Dogs up.
So with Raj up off the field, Matt Burton has gone to the right-hand side to fill that hole defensively. We'll see what they do out here on the left edge for the moment. Jacob Preston defending in the 5/8 position, or certainly the left half position, if you like, as they defend in the modern game. As Gamble kicks, goes down towards Perham. Well, since the Bulldogs have had their hands on the ball.
We mentioned it a little bit earlier too at the start of the show that the Newcastle Knights have got so many explosive players. I'm very surprised that they are where they are on the ladder. We went through all their players, and Ponga in his first half here this afternoon has been explosive, repaying his Knights teammates, but they've got a good roster. And they're showing it here this afternoon against the Dogs.
So pass back through the middle there for Ryan Sutton. 30 points in the first half here, the most the Knights have scored in the first half of a game since 2020. They put on 30 against the Dragons back in the COVID-affected competition of 2020. Last here for the Dogs. Avarillo it is who puts it high in the air. Marju underneath it, coming forward. Burton was a chance to reel it in, but couldn't do so. And Kalen Ponga, look out. Thinking about launching a counter-attack from 10 metres out from his own line. Marju's been in the wars in this first half. A knock to the shoulder, now a knock to the head as well. And they'll barely have time for one more play here. Marju coming forward here. Contact with Matt Burton. He's okay. And so are the Newcastle Knights. They are A-OK. 5 tries in the first half, and the boos from the Bulldogs fans are ringing out around Accor Stadium. At half-time, Newcastle 30, the Bulldogs 0. The Newcastle Knights have only won once away from home so far in 2023. They're on track at the moment. Here's Darcy McDonald with Jaden Brayley.
I'm here with Knights co-captain Jaden Brayley, who's unfortunately out for the rest of the season with an ACL injury, but the man that's filling in for you at the moment at Phoenix Crosland, what have you made of his form so far?
I think he's been outstanding. He's been Mr. Consistent for us since I've been out, and he works extremely hard for us every week, and it's really nice to see him have a good line break and cross under the post in that first half.
Take us inside the shirts at half-time. I imagine Adam O'Brien was pretty happy with that first half.
Yeah, he was very pleased. Obviously, 30 points to nil, he's always going to be happy, but we just got to stick to our process now and really come home in the second half and keep doing what we're doing.
Appreciate your time, Jaden.
Thank you.
He'd love to be out there. Jaden Brayley enjoying this sort of scoreline. 30 points to nil, the Knights over the Bulldogs as we kick things off for the second half. First of 2 games on the Sunday ticket. It's the Seagulls and the Roosters to follow this one at 4 Pines Park on the Northern Beaches. An All-Sydney doubleheader on this Sunday. The Bulldogs, off the back of, no doubt, some soul-searching at half-time. We'll see what they can offer Steve Roach as they get things underway here, but they'll need to stiffen their defensive line remarkably from where they were during that first half. Here they come through Burton for the moment. Ace Perham here runs in behind Jaden Ockenball. A call from the referee. It'll be play on here, 20 short of the halfway line. On ball there, back to the middle. Edwards is met by a 3-man reception committee. Marnie. Goes to Ryan Sutton, the Englishman, punching it forward in the white headgear. And they have one more play here in this opening set. Burton, kick towards the corner. And it's Marju who will bring it back. He's got Ponga back there with him. And he'll play it there. 25 out from his own line.
Well, I reckon all the talk at half-time there from the Doggies would have been grit in defence. Very slow at trying to win tackles. By that I mean just trying to get the opposition on their back. They haven't been able to do that. You've got to win those first couple at least. They've given away a penalty early in the second half there. Only first kick return there from the Newcastle Knights. Up and around the halfway line, about 55 out. They'll start this set. Let's see if they can win some tackles here, the Dog. Let's see how aggressive they are.
It's the worst possible opening for them to this second half to give away a penalty and give the Knights a chance. Cameron Ciraldo reeling back in almost horror there and wondering what happened to what they'd spoken about at the break. Saifidi to play it there. Daniel, now Ponga on the right-hand side. He was dynamic, wasn't he? One of the real superstars of the game. Running riot down that left edge in the opening 40. Gamble here, floating sideways, finding Hetherington through the middle. It's quite a great offload for one of their tries in the first half. Almost did the same there. Now Hastings, Fitzgibbon in behind them again. They've got them at the first chance. Kurt Mann keeps the points rolling for Newcastle.
He's having a day out, isn't he? Lockie Fitzgibbon. It was a beautifully timed pass. I mentioned a little bit earlier how he hits the gaps as good as anyone in the NRL. Fitzgibbon, when he's on, was off the back of a great run there again from Jack Hetherington. The quick play the ball. It's a procession there. Kurt Mann gets the try, but any number of 3 or 4 players could have scored.
And Khalid Rajab, of course, who started on the right-hand side of the first half, removed from play by Cameron Ciraldo just before the break. He was left posted a couple of times by Alamotti on his outside. And Matt Burton here He misses the first up tackle, but got no help again from Alamotti, who had eyes only for the players on his outside. He's lining up against Bradman Best, and he's thinking Best is getting the ball every time, and it's leaving Newcastle Knights being one-on-one with Bulldogs halves, and they're just killing them as a result.
Yeah, they're trying to second guess the man out the back all the time instead of trying to take the man, the front runner. They've hit the front runner all game so far, so trying to take the man with the ball instead of second guessing. Here's the conversion.
Kalen Ponga having quite the afternoon, isn't he? We've got 36 minutes remaining and it's 36 points to nil. Watch it again. Simple stuff. Ponga to Fitzgibbon. There's Alamotti racing through the frame, leaving Burton one-on-one with the back rower, and Fitzgibbon lays it on a platter for that man, Kurt Mann. Off the back of a penalty as well given away. We mentioned the worst possible start to this second half by the Bulldogs, and well, here they are getting things back underway. And I don't know if we'll reach 74 points, Stephen. We may not be too far short the way the Bulldogs are defending though today. There's a bit of starch finally. Sutton over the top, driving Hetherington backwards. One-way traffic it has been. 6 straight tries to the Knights, looking for just their second win on the road in 2023. More than on track at the moment, aren't they? Saifidi, quick hands there through Gamble on that right-hand side. Frizzell met. Good stop by Avarillo with some help as Saifidi works it back towards the halfway line. And the Knights have one more play. Crossland goes across to Gamble. He'll kick deep here, goes down to Perham. He'll make the catch at his own 10-metre line, brings it back where Hastings is there to stop him with company. And they'll force him to work it away, hopefully for the Bulldogs fans who, off the back of that opening try, I was almost expecting to look down and see some Bulldogs fans headed for the exit. See what they can offer here. They're going backwards at the moment, though. Here is Alamotti.
Exactly what I was talking about earlier, just winning the tackles and driving them back. That was the second tackle there. They're going nowhere, the Dogs.
Now a shift. Adokar playing at left centre for the moment with help on his outside. Come back towards the middle. And Avarillo will play it just on his own side of halfway. Last tackle here. Burton finds the belly of the ball. Good luck catching this one. A perfect spiral. Marju didn't get near it. Bradman Best cleans it up. It could have bounced anywhere. It's hard to kick them any better than that. He could launch rockets for NASA.
Gee, you'd be a little bit worried under a high ball like that, wouldn't you? Like he had no idea. Will I go for it? Will I what? Will I not? Just have a look at the way he holds the ball there. Just kicks under the belly of the ball. Just drops at the last second.
Well, they were all at sea, and understandably trying to get anywhere near that. In the end, they got a fortunate bounce. Ponga out ball there just behind Dominic Young. Boy, they picked them apart once again there. The pass from Ponga was just behind Dom Young.
Oh, how does he sum it up so quickly, Kalen Ponga? As you said, the pass just behind again at Okar. Caught in field, trying to shut it down. Ponga, he realises that, sees him out of the corner of his eye. His execution is better. Dominic Young has gone way upfield.
Well, a change for the Bulldogs. Jackson Torpany out there on that left-hand side, playing outside Jacob Preston. And Avarillo has moved into the halves with Matt Burton fighting back to that left edge to try and combine with him here in their set. They're just outside the 20. Goes to King, who runs past Daniel Saifidi. The ball comes free. It will be a knock-on against the Bulldogs. Just when they'd got themselves into field position to put something on inside the red zone, come up with that error here. King spinning, dumping it out the back, and then there's the knock-on. A little touch from Avarillo, Burton knocking it on.
It's a horrible pass, just flops it out the back. It was good defence there again. Straight away, to come up. They didn't just wait for the play to happen. They just forced the error there. Avarillo moved into 5'8", as you mentioned. Gee, he looks the most likely for the Dogs, but he looks like the only one to make half a break at least.
So Torpany is playing at left centre inside Addo-Carr, with Avarillo in behind him. Preston, who was there at 5'8" for the last few minutes of the first half, once Khalid Rajab had been taken out of the play by Cameron Serraldo. We've got a more natural looking half there at the moment. Here's Pong. Just inside his own 40. Very slowly to his feet here and feeling maybe an ankle or a knee. Good ball back through the middle for Hetherington, who has plenty of speed. He linked up with Gamble, who was taken down there by Preston. It's Hastings kicking to the corner. Best in a race with Perham, who loses it in the in-goal area, and Bradman Best has a third try for the Knights.
Gee, they chased hard, didn't they? Again, the kick over the top on a quick play, the ball there. Hastings at the line, the chip over the top. Looked like he was going to clean it up at the back. Perham. Just watch how hard Best chased here. The bounce of the ball, gets it, looks like he's going to be pushed back in the in-goal, loses the football on the way down. Best with a great chase, scores his hat-trick.
And it is the first hat-trick of his career. 21-year-old playing his 61st game in the NRL. Finally has a career hat-trick. Perham going backwards. Awkward bounce for him. He wanted to look at Best, who he knew was coming, before he actually caught the ball. And in the end, he took his eyes off it. And Bradman Best says, "You better believe it, baby. I've got 3 for the first time in the NRL."
I think he thought he was under that ball quite comfortably with the bounce and just looking so he could try and beat Best as soon as he got the ball. Maybe he might have knocked on. Are they having a look at the grounding, or what are they doing here?
Can't imagine there's an issue with the grounding.
We've cleared all aspects of the play up until this point. Hayes Perham knocks the ball forward into the arm of Bradman Best, who also knocks the ball on. There's a knock on from the Bulldogs first in the field of play. We have a decision.
I thought they come off Best's shoulder. How's that a knock on?
It was close. I guess maybe around the bicep area. Anyway, for the moment, he moves back to just the 2 tries, but they will have a chance. A full set of 6 from 10 metres out here off the knock on by Hayes Perham. And scratch out that 3rd try for Bradman Best for the moment. I dare say he's going to get a number of chances here before full time, the way things are going.
Yeah, I think he's going to get another opportunity there. Would have been good early in the second half to score a hat-trick, but anyway, he'll get at it. He'll be determined. Plenty of opportunity to score points in this game anyway.
36 points to nil. Another 38 to match what the Cowboys did against the Tigers last night. Here is Tyson Gamble taking it to the line. If they score right here, I'm not ruling out the possibility. Crossland from dummy half. Goes back to Kurt Mann. It's a mismatch here this afternoon. Amazing to think that both teams are equal on 5 wins for the season. Hastings, Ponga, here's Best again. Gives an offload away. Marju is so strong. The bodybuilder, he scores from close range. He's taken another knock for his trouble. It's been a tough afternoon for him, but they barely had to wait 60 more seconds from the Best knock on to grab another try to make it 40-0.
Gee, I thought he was going to go himself here, Best. He just skipped out of the tackle, but then offloads on the outside. This is their preferred side here this afternoon. Try and take him high like that. He's going to bounce away. So strong. Carraz it was to try and come up with a ball and all tackle. Just trying to get up. Should have tried to get up under the ball there. Anyway, gets caught with 2 elbows and he just bumps straight out of the tackle. Just half-pie beat that tackle. Skips it. A little flick pass. Got some skills, hasn't he? 3 Bulldogs around. Still can't stop him.
Saw Carraz there lashing out with the boot, trying to knock it away from Marju. To be very careful doing that. Didn't make contact with Marju, otherwise it might have been an potential 8-point try. It'll stay at just 4 for the moment with Kalyn Ponga. Had a great afternoon with the boot. 6 from 6. Interesting that he was doing the kicking today and not Jackson Hastings. Maybe a consequence of that ankle issue that Hastings had again last week against the Panthers. But he struck them well. Start this out of his own image on the big screen. Let it bend back, which he does. Here it comes. That's Daryl Halligan-like. What a kick from the sideline. He's got the world on a string blocker.
He probably coaches him. Here's the replay again. But the good thing about the Newcastle Knights here this afternoon, I know it's only 10 minutes in the second half, but they're really going on with it. They led 30-0 at half-time. And there's the kick again. Daryl coaches most of the blokes in the NRL anyway, so I wonder if Ponga is one of them. I don't know the answer to that.
He certainly has quite the clientele list. Kalyn Ponga striking them beautifully here this afternoon. Is 7 from 7 off the back of 7 tries for the Newcastle Knights. They lead 42-zip. So work it away from their own end. Don't forget, beyond the Seagulls and the Roosters following this game, Sunday night with Matty John, special guest. Kangaroos, Queensland, and Storm star Harry Grant taking his luck on the couch with the boys tonight. That's beyond the Seagulls and the Roosters, who are up next right here on the Sunday Ticket. The Knights surging back towards the halfway line here as Crossland waits at dummy half. Hastings with Ponga flipping around the back. Here they go again. Best is off and running. Back on the inside. He had support in Hastings. He pops it out the back, and Hastings is there again. They're running riots, and we might have 70-point score lines in back-to-back days the way things are going.
I think the ball boys might get a try here this afternoon. They're all lining up. Look at any number of players. Best looked like he was going to back himself here to score his hat-trick. The second man play again. Ponga straight through. I wonder if they'll call it back for a little bit of obstruction in the line. I hope not. This is good to watch. Look at the pass out the back here. Marnie can't make the tackle. The flick out the back. Hastings goes in for number 2.
You heard the boos ringing out. Can't remember the last time I heard booing like that. So far from full time. An NRL game, let alone a Bulldogs game, and there are now fans who've said we've seen enough today. They're headed for the car park and they'll go home and get an early seat on the couch in the lounge room to see the Seagulls take on the Roosters next.
Hastings looks like he got a bit of a thigh problem there, the right thigh. He's just grabbing at it after he scored the try. I think it might have been after the try was scored and he kicked the ball into the grandstand. He's just grabbing at it at the moment.
An ankle issue last week and now a right thigh problem. Ponga. He's just in his irresistible form here today. See if he can kick this to make it 48-0. And I think 70 is very much on the cards given what we've seen to begin the second half. There's been no response from the Bulldogs defensively here, and the Knights fans are on their feet. This is rarefied air for a team that's won just 5 games so far, and Ponga, his combination with Jackson Hastings, the Bulldogs have no answer.
And as I mentioned before, the lineup there, the support, it's amazing how exciting you get when you're making clean breaks like this. It's been unbelievable. The amount of line breaks. It's 12-0 at the moment, and it will continue. They're in a mood now, the Knights.
The restart goes down to be taken there by Gamble. Hetherington will bring it back out for the Knights. They've scored tries in the 43rd, the 50th, and the 52nd to advance the scoreline from 30-0 to 48 points to 0 now. We still have almost 27 minutes left here at Accor Stadium. Cross. Look at Matt Croker is on the field now, gets a chance to join the hit parade for the Knights. Biggest win ever against the Bulldogs is 42 points. They're beyond that now, as Fitzgibbon will play it there. We'll go back to Gamble. Play almost came to a complete standstill there. The kick into no man's land, taken by Perham coming forward. So plenty of speed. Footwork to go with it. He hands it off to Torpedy, who will play it here for the Bulldogs just outside the 30. Here's Carras. Oh, there's plenty of energy on his carries, but boy, been hard to watch for the blue and white faithful here this afternoon. Marnie waits at dummy half. He goes across to Burton. Perham bypasses Preston. Here's Avarillo. Adokar was in there again, playing at left centre with Jackson Torpedy out on the wing. I guess anything's worth trying at the moment. The Fox at dummy half. Comes back to Preston. Tries to spin and offload, but he's wrapped up there comfortably by Hetherington in particular. Back to the short side. Burton puts it in the air. Ponga. It'll come down in the field of play this time, and Ponga had a foot out there, and chasing through Jake Avarillo was little Hayes Perham, and ended up with a boot somewhere around the chin.
Oh, that's dangerous, isn't it?
I mean, he has enormous jumping ability. Does he actually extend the foot here to try and fend away from Perham? He's spinning as he makes the catch, as fullbacks want to do at the moment in the game. I just think it's the force of the way he spun, had the leg spinning in the direction of Perham.
Well,
and I'm prepared to say that was nothing more than an accident.
Yeah, the good thing is Perham's up and running anyway. He might have caught it, the bulk of it on his shoulder.
So the referee and the bunker both had a look at it. They agreed that it was just nothing more than a collision, a rugby league collision, if you like, with no fault laid on Kalen Ponga. And the Knights begin here just inside their 30s. Crossland waits a dummy half, still looking after things in that particular position with man out the back as the lock forward. Here's Ponga again. Oh, Fitzgibbon was away, just couldn't hang on to it.
I was talking a little bit earlier about Fitzgibbon, how he is very good at running into space. Just look where he comes from here. He put himself on the inside shoulder there of Burton, and he caught that ball. They were lining up to score again.
Well, he started the season in the halves, did Kalen Ponga, has switched back to the back of the concussion issues, and just a switch of play for Adam O'Brien into the fullback role, but he's played as a third half here today, and again there, just floating across the field. The straight runners is running their lines into holes, and he's picking which one he wants to go with. Oh boy, now Alamotti puts it down. Here's Best, nobody in front of him, coming across. Perham won't get to him, and Bradman Best, this time you can rubber stamp it, gold plate it, seal it and deliver it. Finally has his first hat-trick in the NRL.
Well, I don't think there was any way that Bradman Best was going to pass the ball here after he got the ball in the clear. Perham tries to, have a look where Perham comes from. Tries to cover here, but Best just takes off. Crossland calling for the ball, back inside, no way, son. I'm going to score this one myself. Kicks the ball into the empty seats there. The handling has been atrocious. Look at that for a bounce. Picks it up beautifully. Flicks it over to his right hand. And away Best goes. There's no way you're going to get the ball off him there. Look at Crossland. Come on, mate. Give us the ball. No way.
Their fourth try of the second half from an error on play number 1 from the Bulldogs. Boy, it has been a tough afternoon for them in every category, and Bradman Best gets one delivered to him on a silver platter. 3 tries today, a couple of try assists as well. Oh, what fun they've had on this left-hand side against the Bulldogs' right edge defence. Half a century up. We've got 22 minutes remaining. Couldn't believe you could have teams both score 70 points on the same weekend. It's on the cards. It's on the cards, blocking.
Round 18. Fatigue starting to set in now. The teams that don't look like they're going to make the 8 start to fall away and start to think about next year.
Here's Ponga bending it back once again, adds 2 more points. Darcy, it's 54 points to 0.
A hat-trick for Bradman Best, and it is a fitting reward for him. He is enjoying his longest run of consecutive games and is actually the only Knight to play every minute of the season so far. That's quite an achievement when you consider he only played 15 games last season and 14 the year before. He's been in great touch for the Knights, and the coach put that down to his pre-season. Best turned up on day 1 in great shape, and that's set the tone for the year.
He has had a very good season, and importantly, for the most part, no injuries, which has led him to play all 15 games to this point for the Newcastle Knights. He's had a horrid run over the past couple of years with leg injuries in particular. Seemed to be a magnet for picking up knocks to the ankle and the knee, and issues with the hands as well, but he's fully fit this season. And the benefits are there for all the Knights fans to see. Here is Kurt Mann, who heads back towards the 40. 5 tries in the first half, 4 in this second half. Here's Ponga again. Steps back on the inside of Avarillo, taken down just on his own side of halfway. We're midway through this second half. Warren Smith, Steve Blocker-Roach, Darcy McDonald bringing you what is another carve-up in this incredible round 18 in the Telstra Premiership. Gamble puts it in the air. Adokar flying for it. Dominic Young lets him make the catch. Would have taken a bit of pity there on the Bulldogs, the big right winger. And now a whistle. The Knights jump the gun. A little bit too keen to get off their 10 there. And they give the Dogs a chance to work it downfield for one of the few times in this second half.
And Reid Marnie in a little bit of trouble out there for the Dogs. Just bounced out of a tackle holding his face. He's a tough little character. He'll stay out there. He's a little bit uncomfortable at the moment. He'll fight his way back in.
Raymond Faitala Mariner has missed 4 games straight. That right elbow heavily strapped. He's back on deck. Sight for sore eyes for the Bulldogs here today. They'll get further help with Kickow and Thompson. Luke Thompson, Viliami Kickow returning in round 22. They're slated to be back on deck. Edwards, an offload there. Comes to Burton, who shows it extravagantly on the outside. Comes back to the middle. They've turned it over again. Just can't get through a set with the ball in their hands at the moment, the Bulldogs. Yeah, Mann was there to jump on it.
Yeah, that was well done by Kurt Mann. He was right on the spot, Marnie. And just the effort to win that ball. The game's long gone, but those little effort areas, Mann comes away with the football.
Problem for Greg Marju. Boy, clutching at his head again. It's amazing he's still out there given how many times he's picked up an injury. He's also got a wrist issue, it looks like, there. He might just go and sit in the fridge after the game. You won't need an ice pack.
You'd want to stay out when you're winning 54 to blot, wouldn't you? You want to stay out there.
Phoenix Croston will get a breather at the moment, and Kurt Mann will take over in the dummy half role. Here's Gamble, Frizzell, Tuwala, Dominic Young. He says, catch this if you can. Kicks it straight down the throat of Hayes Perham, who comes wide out here to Paul Alamotti. But a tough afternoon for the 19-year-old, who is off contract and has been given permission by the Bulldogs to see if he can find a deal elsewhere in the NRL.
He showed plenty of promise early. He's just starting to get a little bit fatigued. Round 18, a young fella coming in. He's got plenty of ability. Be a good pick-up for a club. Stephen Crichton coming to the Bulldogs next season.
Parent, ball back on the inside for Ryan Sutton. Just inside the Knights 40 as Avarillo goes to the line. Torpenny taken down there. Solid tackle by Tyson Gamble. Last here for Canterbury. It's Burton who waits one towards the corner. Carraz makes the catch. They allowed him to make the catch. He dumps it out the back. Still the last. Comes from Sutton. Burton knocked on there by Curtis Moran. He was facing his own line but knocked it towards the opponent's goal line, and that'll be the changeover.
They just had no luck, have they, here this afternoon? Moran knocking the ball on towards his own goal line there. Knights bunched a little bit at the moment. I want to finish this right off here. 17 to go.
If they are to make a push in this run towards the finals, for and against will be important. They can help themselves out by bagging as many points here as they possibly can. Hetherington had it poised for an offload there. No call, now a delayed call. The sideline official helped out the referee, Ziggy Persha-Klasa-Adamski. The Knights are going to challenge it, say it was knocked out by the Bulldogs.
I think the referee is going to let that play on now. I think there's a call, as you rightly said, from the touch judge. Hetherington again just trying to twist in the tackle and offload the ball out the back.
Just looking at all available angles.
And a poise there for an offload, and Ockenbore's hand makes contact with the ball. You'd imagine with the ball away from his body, the bunker would say this would be a loose carry.
Jack Hetherington's trying to offload the football. Jaden Ockenbore sees this and plays at the football. He knocks the ball backward, knocks the ball on. The challenge by Newcastle is successful.
Ockenbore knocked the ball on.
I thought they might have said it was a loose carry by Jack Hetherington, which is the way it often goes in one of those situations. This time they say Ockenbore, he certainly was playing at it, but he had to try and stop the pass being delivered. And it wasn't a classic strip by any sort of motion. So they win the challenge, as they've done for the second time this game. And the Knights to work it away here with a full set from just on their own side of halfway. The Seagulls and the Roosters there next. What a big game that is. Both teams with their issues through the middle part of the season. The Roosters really struggling. Seagulls trying to get something going at home. And it's a sellout at Four Pines Park. The locals responding on the peninsula as Hastings finds Gamble here. Tuala losing it backwards is the call. And now a whistle for the Bulldogs, taking out one of the Knights support players.
Tackle without the ball by the look of it. They don't need any invitation here. They take the quick tap through Vizell.
Raymond Faitala Mariner, in fact, coming up and knocking down Jackson Hastings was the call from the referee. Well, here are the Knights looking for try number 10 without conceding one themselves. Goes through the hands of Kroger. Hastings, Ponga again. There's a collision through Ockenbore and also Hastings. Play on though, no whistle either way. The Knights at the 10. Slow play the ball from Ponga. Hastings goes to Gamble. Cut out ball, pouring into a hole. And Nari Tuala dives in. And the Knights today are a perfect 10.
Tuala, what a gap run there. Hit the ball at speed. Just they've been good with their ball playing here this afternoon, but the defence hasn't been that good, but you still got to be able to put yourself in those positions. Two-pass runner. It's Gable that threw the footy there straight away. Knights in again. Jeez, they've done well, haven't they? Just haven't been able to come off their line hard enough. The Dogs been able to tackle one-on-one.
They've run some nice holes, haven't they? Give them credit, of course, the Knights here, what they've done today against this Bulldogs defence. And again, they're all at sea on the edges, the Bulldogs. Josh Adokar defending in the centres, Torpany outside him. And Anari Tuala filling in for Dane Gagai today, who'll be missing for at least... might be back in time for the Tigers. The Knights have the bye next week. That'll be their third and final bye for the season. Then they take on the Tigers, a Friday night game, 8 p.m. prime time football there at home against West. So two big chances they were presented here, trying to get their season going. They've taken the first of them emphatically, with Ponga having this kick to bring up 60. We've still got 14 minutes remaining. He bends it back, having quite the day. Ponga makes it 60 points to 0. Is there a chance they could eclipse the Cowboys here?
I reckon there's every chance, isn't there? Just have a look at the running meters here. Poor old Bulldogs only run for 685. The Knights have run for 1,404 and still going.
What a mismatch it is, Darcy.
Absolutely. Well, prior to this season, Anari Tuala was an NRL regular, but this is just his third game this year. He's fallen down the pecking order and has had to bide his time in reserve grade. He hasn't been kicking stones, though. I'm told he's had the same attitude and professionalism in Cup as he does in NRL. It speaks volumes about him as a player.
Well, he's picked a good afternoon to come back for, hasn't he? Just the 5th time the Knights have scored 60 points in a game. It's pretty remarkable in itself. They've done it 5 times. And the first since 2006. 17 long years before they've cracked 60 points. Off the back of the Cowboys last night, putting on 74 unanswered against the Tigers. Here's Frizzell. They'll be here in game 3, you'd imagine, for the Blues as they take on Queensland, trying to avoid that maroon wash. A 3-0 scoreline in Origin as Gamble puts it in the air. Chasing through on his own kick. Perham is there. He fired it or lost it in the Gamble tackle. It came straight to Dominic Young, and the Knights have it, looking for an 11th try. Croker to play it. Man down the short side. They were waiting for him there at O'Carr. Let him sneak in from dummy half like that. Young fires it to Gamble. Here's Jacob Saifidi, who started the game in the run on 13. Quick play the ball. Gamble. He goes first man option. Leo Thompson. He scores and has his first try in the NRL. No, the pass is forward. Ooh. Oh, didn't see that.
You would like to see him score a try. Wholehearted player. Runs hard.
Oh, goodness.
It's not forward.
Wasn't remotely close to being forward. Well, the sideline official there just fooled by the no-looker from Gamble as he dropped off on the run. Came to a standstill as he delivered the pass backwards out of the hands. Looked good live, looked good in replay. Tough one when he's about to score his first try in the NRL. Leo Thompson, here he is in game 32.
The one that got away.
It could be the new Alex Twal. He'll be thinking back to that game against the Bulldogs that day if he goes scoreless for some time to come. Tavita Pangai Jr. is back out there. Long stint on the bench for a man who was an Origin representative as recently as game 1 this year. King now works it back.
Just like to see him tuck the ball under his arm and run as hard as he can into the Knights defence rather than playing before the line.
Preston to play it here for the Dogs as we approach the 10 minutes remaining mark. We've had 70 minutes of play and they've scored 60 points, the Knights. Unbelievable weekend. Here is Kalen Ponga. Look at him weave his way through the chasers. Pangai Jr. missed him. King missed him. Eventually he was wrapped up by the cover. Marju wasn't sure whether he's going to pass it to somebody else or just take a carry. In the end, did the latter and plays it for Crossland, who's back on deck. Just a short breather on the bench for Phoenix Crossland. Deserves to be out there to finish this one today after being a big part of what they've offered against the Bulldogs with their 6th win of the season.
We mentioned half-time how good Lachlan Fitzgibbon would be. It's his 18th carry.
Here's man, Crossland, here he is backing up. Now they've got try number 11. He's got his 2nd of the afternoon. After scoring 5 minutes before half-time, he grabs another one here 10 minutes out from full-time, and 74 is still on the books.
Just look how slow they were to get back. The markers over-chased straight through. Crossland supporting. He's been good this afternoon. Well, they haven't had a bad player, have they, the Newcastle Knights? The fend away there. Crossland, good anticipation. Been backing up all afternoon. Away he goes. Not a bad place to score too. Right onto the sticks. Still plenty of time left too. 9 minutes.
Oh, there's a heap of time for them to match, if not eclipse, what the Cowboys did last night. And boy, there's a rare sight. A smile on the face of Adam O'Brien. Puts on his Mark Hughes Foundation beanie as well to celebrate with. Maybe they're the lucky, but they might wear those beanies for the rest of the season, Blocky. He said it's his favourite round of the season in our pre-game show, and given what they've shown here today, he might make it mandatory that all the players have to run onto the field for the remainder of the season with the beanies on.
Be a bad ploy. Not the same as wearing the same sluggos for a decade or something, is it?
I'm not sure about that. Was that your go, was it?
Oh, no.
66 points to 0. Almost the number of the beast here today for the Knights against the Bulldogs. You can still buy, of course, your Mark Hughes Foundation beanies. It's Beanie for Brain Cancer Round. And yes, what a weekend it's been for you, Knights fans. Been tough times again in 2023. In fact, since the beginning of last season, they've won just 11 prior to today of their previous 39 games. So they've had an afternoon out. Tough old day for the Bulldogs fans. Those who've turned up here today looking for something from their team at the back end of the season. Unfortunately for them, they've got a long way to go still. They've got the Rabbitohs next week. That one right here, Saturday night at Accor Stadium, and then they're back at home at Belmore in round 20, a 3 o'clock game on the Saturday afternoon. See it live on Fox League exclusively when they take on the Brisbane Broncos. So two very tough opponents coming up for the Bulldogs. Here's Gamble for Ponga, a touch there, almost a chance for Addo-Carr to come up with possession, and there will be a knock on, then an offside play, so the Dogs will have it for a chance to go on the attack.
Yeah, Ponga just trying to slow things down there. That's what all the boos are about.
Comes across tomorrow as the Dogs search to take it inside the 20. Lachlan ball spun there by Crossland and also Fitzgibbon. Long left hand side is set. Moran back through the middle. Grabbed one late in the piece in their last outing against the Sharks, and they gave up 48 points. Here's Burton for Preston. Tuala jamming in nicely there with the help of Gamble. They stop the back row of 5 metres out. Here's Burton. Comes to Reid. Marnie doing some ball playing through the middle. Set restart here for Canterbury. Alamotti towards the corner. Dumps it back on the inside. They've got a full set though, keeping the ball in play through Hayes Perham. It's Carraz. Hockenball didn't want to put his hand up for a carry there, so Carraz just takes a settler back towards the post. Marnie waits at dummy half. Here is King, or Ponga was posted there. He was one-on-one with King for a moment. Kurt Mann came up quickly and left him on his own. Pangai Jr. He stands in the tackle. 4 defenders there to wrap him up. Burton now showing it. Trying to step back on the inside. Ponga was there, and then Burton, his pass intercepted by Anari Tuala, and Cameron Serrato has pretty much seen enough.
Yeah, just haven't been able to mount any pressure all afternoon, have they? Just tried to force the issue, the Bulldogs. Here's the pass here from Burton, their skipper. And the Knights intercept, up over the 30 already.
It's the 3-try man. Bradman Best will play it here very slowly back to his feet. I'm going to put the mock on him by saying how he's been injury-free so far this season, having quite a good 2023 as a result. Gamble kicking. He'll find Perham on the full, back at the Bulldogs 10. Biggest ever win for the Knights, 60 points when they beat the Rabbitohs back in 1999 by 60 points to 0. They're beyond that mark at the moment. The tide is high for Newcastle here at Accor Stadium today. Carraz bringing it back towards the halfway line. Looking for an offload there. Inside the final 5. Bangai Jr. looking for an offload. Goes over the top to Perham. Best is there to stop him. They've used up 4. Here is Marnie. Goes wide to Burton, who puts a kick in. Haddo Carr might have thought there was a chance at a kick. Dominic Young, awkward looking attempt there. I don't know that he was fully fit, working his way back to land on that ball. Could be inconvenienced by a leg problem. Keep an eye on him. Seems to be okay for the moment. Walking up behind the play the ball. As the Knights work it here, 4 minutes remaining. Well, maybe 74 was just a bridge too far. There's a chance that they can score in this possession. Couldn't completely rule it out.
Yeah, they've been pretty good at the long-range tries here this afternoon.
Croker, hit there by Marnie. Underneath. Through a power of tackling, Reed Marnie today. That was his 50th for the game. The kick here. Down towards Perham. The Knights just putting in the kicks towards the corner. Blues again ringing out from the Bulldogs fan. Not sure entirely what that occasion.
Well, there's 8 players still not behind the ball for the Bulldogs to third tackle.
Here's Marnie. It'll be a quiet dressing room in the extreme, and they make it back finally through the tunnel at Accor Stadium beyond full time. Jay Knockleball just about lost the string in his shorts. He'll play it eventually. He's a Bulldog all the way to his underwear today, but Curtis Moran puts it down here, and the Knights will get a chance, at least one more. Leo Thompson to finish off the tackle beyond the error being made. The Bulldogs, big boys, didn't think too much of that. When you lead 66 points to 0.
Matt, on report. Where are you guys working? Scrums in the middle, let's go.
Player being placed on report here for, is that a hip drop they were talking about with Matt Burton here? There he is, just spinning his body and using the weight of the hip on the leg there of Bradman Best. Got up a little bit proppy from that. That might be an issue for Matt Burton, with potentially, as part of that New South Wales squad for game 2 of the Origin Series. Never know what they were thinking in regards to game 3. They might have an issue with the match review committee off the back of that. We'll find out tomorrow. Croker playing it here. Seagulls and Roosters there next. Stay with us on the Sunday Ticket, live on Fox League. The Knights looking for 70 points for the first time in the club's history. And Thompson has been hit here heavily by Moran, who was looking for a bit of a square up there. And he got one right at the death on Leo Thompson, who was denied his first try in the NRL, we reckon incorrectly, earlier on. There's Moran coming up to launch a shot on him.
Yeah, a little bit of a square up there for a little bit earlier. Good to see the young fella trying to get one back. Showing a little bit of fire, which is always good. Plenty of talking going on there in the scrum. A little bit late for that.
He's not a big body, is he? Curtis Moran plays well above his weight, getting a chance. Starting side today as they win the scrum, the Bulldogs. Their last possession. They got something here in the 80th minute. Try and put points on the board. Alamotti. Had an afternoon to forget for the teenager. A player just inside the halfway line. Burton, Moran goes to Marnie. Out the back for Avarillo. Haddo Carr is there. The Knights sliding though. Comes back on the inside for Torpenny, who ducked in behind Preston. Play on is the call. They've used up 3 plays. Avarillo jumps out of dummy half. Marnie for Burton. Good hands. Here's Alamotti. Flick pass. Carraz up against the sideline. Couldn't get it down.
Are you happy with everything in the lead-up?
He got himself into the in goal, but the Knights were determined to keep the sheet clean here today. And Ziggy says no dice.
Is that Crossland that got it? I know there was a number of players in and around the ball, but Does Crossland get himself across here to make the tackle? The flick out the back. They've been caught in field. And have a look at the troops come. It looks like he's going to score for all money. Should have dived over there. That close to the
Jacob
line,
Carragh
trying to
stays
cut
in the
back
field to play at
inside.
this point, playing on.
Fitzgibbon here. Grabs the arm, holds him up. That's a great tackle. Can't put the ball down.
This point, the ball
Crossland
is still
comes in
up.
now to assist. Right on the spot.
Jacob Carragh's foot goes touching goal. We have a decision.
And they're celebrating like they've defended a 2-point lead, the Newcastle Knights. The scoreboard says 66-0. And they've come from everywhere to mob both Fitzgibbon and Crossland for their efforts in keeping the Bulldogs to nil here today. Might be a fairly hostile reaction. The Bulldogs fans, and the final siren finally blows. Kalen Ponga, star turn from him today. He was outstanding in setting up so many points for his teammates. The pain finally ends for the Bulldogs momentarily. The Knights want to win their 6th of the season and just their 2nd on the road in 2023. Full time at Accor Stadium. The Knights 66, the Bulldogs 0.